We are live now. So you've got a hot mic and a hot camera.
Good to know. I was about to say, yeah, after my next election, I'll have a little wiggle room to do with the Russians. I couldn't stop laughing when I heard he'd been nominated for the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
Now, there's a big difference between nominating and winning. And the Nobel Committee's never let that happen. But I just thought, boy, how funny is that?
Yeah, it's still a terrible joke. Or the beginning of a nightmare.
Rothschilds want to know if you want to go to Fritz's.
I can't, huh?
Rothschilds want to know if you want to go to Fritz's.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, either or is fine with me.
I can't hear.
Either or is fine with me.
Well, that's ambivalent.
Well, you know.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll go.
Okay.
Did you feed poop?
Huh?
Did you feed the
Yes, I
puppy?
did. Mhm.
That should make that should do it. Having it underneath the, what do we call this thing? Should make up the logo.
You're coming across on here.
I haven't turned this on.
Is it on?
Now we're on.
Okay. Yeah.
Folks at home, give you time to go make a cocktail and settle.
We can start.
Good evening, Shabbat Sholom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We begin our service with an opening song. The choir is on hiatus this close to the holiday days. So we'll be singing for ourselves this evening, page 332, Yedi Nefesh. Yedi Nefesh, Yedi Nefesh, We turn back now to pages 2 and 3. We're lighting Shabbat candles. Barbara,
Okay. Will you light and I'll pray?
you'll light them the same and say blessing from down there. Very good.
Okay. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge of which to live. Lead us to take the words we should say into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts, May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadek ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Page 6, the middle of the page responsibly. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are longing for friendship. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May the threshold be no stumbling block and understanding people.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Page 9. We offer thanks to God for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and prayer. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessings of God. And the next page. Page 25. And Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. Coming upon a certain place, he passed the night there for the sun was setting. Taking one of the stones to the place, he made it his headrest as he lay down in that place. He dreamed, and lo, a ladder was set on the ground with its top reaching to heaven. And lo, angels of God going up and coming down on it. And lo, Adonai stood up above it and said, I, Adonai, am the God of your father Abraham, and God of Isaac. The land on which you are lying I will give to you and to your descendants. And your descendants shall be like the dust of the earth. You shall spread out to the west and the east, the north and the south. Through you and your descendants all the families of the earth shall find blessing. And here I am with you. I will watch over you wherever you go. I will bring you back to this soil. I will not let go of you as long as I have yet to do what I have promised you. Waking from his sleep, Jacob said, Truly Adonai is in this place, and I did not know it. He was awestruck and said, How awe-inspiring is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Page 28, we stand. Praise Adonai, who praises due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. Top of 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, to whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. At the middle of 33, possibly. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love?
In this holiest of your works, in the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai,
Israel.
Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever. Shema
Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Oh, sing, Le'olam Malchuto, Le'olam V'olam.
Page 39. Standing on the parting shores of history, we still believe what we were taught wherever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, the promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together. Page 42. Shalom, grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace, guard us with good counsel, for your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings, defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow, distance us from wrongdoing. You, God, watch over us and deliver us. You, God, are gracious and merciful, for our going and coming to life and peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, who shall their peace is spread over us, over all your people of Israel and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, Aporesh Shalom Aleinu, Ya'akol Amon Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Middle of 44. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Yahweh, Odeh, Shalom. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Yahweh, Odeh, Shalom. Aha, Mekadeshe, Sheviti, Shalom. Kulam Yisru, V'Tanu, V'Tam Shabbat. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Odeh, Shalom. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Odeh, Shalom. V'hashvi Hatzitabo, Hatzitabo v'kidashto Shabbat, Temdah Yomi, Otocha Rata Shabbat. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Odeh, Shalom. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Odeh, Shalom. Zecher l'maseh l'reishi Shabbat, Zecher l'maseh l'reishi Shabbat. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Odeh, Shalom. Yismachu v'malach v'tefam, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Odeh, Shalom. We read silently on page 47. We turn ahead now to page 155, and stand for the Amidah.
Let my mouth may declare your praise.
We continue reading silently 157 to the silent prayers on 165. Please be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are ill, those who are healing. We keep in our thoughts ongoing prayers for Kenny Elliott, April Foster, Judy Foster. We add to our prayers Carrie Horwitz and Gary Horwitz, both of which have been tested positive, and Carrie is currently hospitalized at Memorial. Are there others whose names you'd like to keep in our prayers?
Big.
Russellberg and Carl Healy.
Elaine Phillips, Jorge family, Ross Zimmerman.
B.J. Crawford.
Mishmer, Havatenu, Vimatenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Torah, Teladea. And may the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
I have no prepared remarks this evening, but
Do you have a program?
I thought we might, just as especially since it's such a small group of us, share a couple of memories. When I was growing up, I recall that my parents and their friends, cohort, their generation, would sometimes ask the question, do you remember where you were when you heard the news of John Kennedy's assassination? I think for many of my generation, and maybe you all as well, the question is, do you remember where you were when you heard what was going on the morning of September 11th? I just thought I'd raise that question to you this evening. I know exactly where I was. I remember it vividly. It was a beautiful October morning. We were getting the kids ready for school. We had the television on in the kitchen. Joe was in the other room. And I turned around and looked at the TV and said, Joe, come here. You can't believe this. And then we were glued to I don't know what happened to the kids. I guess they went to school. But, we were glued to the TV set for the next several hours, basically. You all, do you have any recollections, memories of where were you September 11th? Barb?
I was at the time, I was working for the Sanguinary Special Ed, and we were doing preschool testing. And I was in Rochester at one of the nursery schools, and we were upstairs in this room, and the first plane hit the tower, and it was like, oh my goodness, look, we were all kind of flabbergasted with that. But then shortly after that happened, we had broken for lunch, and we walked past the laundromat to get lunch, and the second one hit the tower, and I said, this is no accident, and we knew something really bad was happening.
So for those of you who may not have been able to hear, Barb was the nursery school out in Rochester doing special education testing, and then saw the first one, and then around lunchtime saw the second one. And, Harvey?
The first one was when John Kennedy was assassinated. I happened to be in Greenville, Illinois, working for my brother, and I saw that on the television set, and it got so quiet in there. It was a busy place, a lot of people in there. It was around lunch hour or thereabouts, and when that happened, it got so quiet you could hear everybody breathe. I closed up my book, I got in my car, and I drove straight home to Centralia
you're lucky, Harvey said that he was, had just gotten back the night before from a sales and marketing meeting or something in Atlanta, and was sitting at his desk doing paperwork and whatnot, and Dolores said, look at the TV. You're lucky you got back the night before from Atlanta, because you would not have been flying for a few days after that, as I recall. Most flights are grounded at least for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I was in the car driving to Champaign to go to a legal education seminar.
So you didn't even see it on the TV, you were in the car.
Well, I got to the seminar and they had a TV on, and we didn't learn a thing about the law that day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Mark Raven said he was in the car and he got to the seminar, the TVs were on, and of course, they didn't learn a thing about law at the seminar that day. But, yeah, you know, I was thinking about this morning as I was reading a New Yorker's recollection of that day. Yeah. I don't know whether we were as polarized as a nation then as we are now, but certainly for that day and for the next few days after that, we certainly were not polarized as a nation.
I don't think we were.
No, everybody said, you know, I do, and I'm in New York, that kind of thing. You know. Any others before we conclude?
For Kennedy's assassination, I was in the 6th grade, Haven School, which is now part of Memorial Medical Center. And what I remember is all of a sudden the intercom came on, and it was a radio show announcing that the president had been assassinated. And it was a weird thing, and I don't think the principal knew how to break it. He just turned on the radio and let us all hear it. And all the teachers, of course, were crying. I think everybody else was in shock. And they sent us home early. For 9/11, I was at work at the Howlett building. I was a stationary engineer there. And on this particular day, I was the only one there. Other people had taken days off and so forth. And we had a TV in our office. We had to monitor the weather, because that was our job, was to maintain the building climate. But then they broke in, and they said, you know, they told us that the plane had crashed into the tower. Like, well, you know, planes have hit buildings before, and I thought, well, that's too bad, that's tragic. And while they're talking about it, here comes the other one. And that's when, like everybody else, I said, this is no accident. And then I got calls from everybody. Nobody comes in the building, nobody goes out of the building, you're staying till we tell you to go home. That they started moving in barricades all around the building. It was, you know, weird.
Yeah, it was a strange day. Maggie, you wanted to say something?
I was working in the senior center in Grange, Illinois, as the in-house case manager, and I was early that day. I never turned on the TV in the morning, and that day I just happened to turn it on as the second plane hit. And when I got to the senior center, the staff was debating whether or not they should roll in the TV for the seniors to watch. And I said, do you realize how much these people have been through? You know, I think they deserve to at least watch the news. But they were concerned that it would upset the seniors. So they rolled in the TV, and they reacted no differently than the rest of us.
I don't even know about the seniors of 17. Yeah. I also remember, this is strictly a rabbinic point of view, I had already had some of my sermons ready to die on holidays, and I'm thinking, darn, I'm going to have to rewrite all these. Yeah, clearly everybody's thoughts are going to be something else this year. Well, when you get home and check your email, you'll find there a prayer that you can reread again at home, but I'll share it with you this evening on the occasion of September 11th. Today, of course, marks the 19th anniversary of the fateful events on 9/11. Below is a prayer we may find meaningful. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 2,976 people from 93 nations lost their lives in New York at the Pentagon and on Flight 93. Today, many years on, we pause to remember that moment of horror and pray for those left scarred by those terrible events. We remember the first time we heard the news. We recall the first time we saw those images. We remember the way our thoughts and prayers were with those families who lost loved ones. Our thoughts and prayers are with them again today. God of comfort, years have passed, yesterday, today, and forever. Let your love and peace endure. We remember those who survived. We recall their heartbreaking stories. We remember that their lives are forever scarred by those moments. Our thoughts and prayers are with them again today. God of healing, years have passed. Yesterday, today, and forever. Let your love and peace endure. We remember the pain we felt. We recall the bereavement and bitterness of the aftermath. We remember that you are a God of redemption. Help us to affirm once more that life is good. Help us to heal. God of forgiveness, years have passed, yesterday, today, and forever. Let your love and peace endure. We remember that you love the world. Help us bring your comfort and peace to all. God of hope, years have passed, yesterday, today, and forever. Let your love and peace endure. We turn to page 282 in our prayer books. And we stand to the other. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Please choose from one of the meditations beginning on page 288. Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died for the season of years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. As the name of your loved one is called out, you find to stand if you wish, and all the names that are called out and stand in homage. On this Shabbat, our hearts go out to the families of Zachary Lowenstein, Eugene Oden, Louis Wall, Boris Brodsky, Daniel Carlin, Beryl Archmont, John O. Spence, and Arnold Stern, called to their eternal rest sometime over the course of this past year. And from across the years, we recall the names of Patricia Barnhart, Samuel Irving Blitzstein, Lena Ray Bowman, Thomas Brunner, Harold Bergheim, Calvin Cohn, Edmund L. Cohn, William W. Deutsch, Dora Joseph Druckerman, Meyer Fishman, Gerda Hagen, Irene Hammerslough, Alice Jenkins, Morris Kahn, Ernie Coaches, Arthur W. Lillianstein, Milton D. Lowenstein, Harold Luden, Lily D. Moskowitz, Fanny Rickeaser, Francis Saltonstein, Armand Sherman, Herman Elliott Snyder, and David Weisbaum. The yahrzeit of his passing takes place at the season of the year. And finally, the name of Mark Grisman, who was a nephew or a cousin of former member Mark McIntyre, who has long since moved away. And Mark perished in the World Trade Center towers on September 11th. Zichronam Libracha, may their memories be for blessing, and as together we all say, Amen. More finally on facing page. Yitgadal, 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 Yolman, Yitgadal, Yirte, Yamli, Yamli, V'chaye Honu, Yomei Honu, V'chaye, V'chol Yisrael, V'agalam, Zmankavi, V'romei, Yehei, Shmei, Rabam, V'rach, L'olam, V'mei, Maya, Yitbarach, Yishtavat, Yitbar, V'romam, V'naseh, V'hadar, V'haleh, V'halal, Shmei, V'shah, V'rifu, Le'ilam, V'kol, V'rchata, V'shirata, V'shushbechata, V'netamata, Damiran, V'yolman, V'romei, Yehei, Shlom, Arabam, V'kemaya, V'chayim, Aleinu, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'romei, Oseh, Shalom, V'romam, V'yaseh, Shalom, Aleinu, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'romei. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort all who are grieved among us as together we say.
Amen.
Please be seated. Just a reminder that Salichot is tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and I have the names of a number of people I know that will be attending. If you'd like to have your name included on that list, just email me, rabbigatz@gmail.com, and I'll send you the Zoom coordinates, the secret package that allows you to enter the Zoom room for Salichot tomorrow evening. Let's see, services next Friday evening, Erev Rosh Hashanah. Please note that it's the 8 o'clock time, so that allows you time to have dinner before you come to services. And hope to see some of you here next Friday evening. Kiddush on page 4 and 5. We'll try to round this up and round this off with a happy note. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahavat ratzon, kihilanu, v'zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit, kihu yom tefilah l'mikra kodesh. Zecher tziyat mitzrayim, Ivanu v'charta, Yatanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, V'shabbat kodshecha, Yamavu ratzon, in ha'chanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadeh, Hashavat. Amen. Big reveal. L'chaim Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
No closing hymn tonight.